Hello, everyone. This is another show of Natural is Health. I'm your host, Dr. Ferrante Frazier. I am a holistic doctor, and I only talk about holistic health and nutrition. If you're searching for medical advice or any type of advice from those people outside of the scope of holistic health, you should definitely seek them out and learn all you can learn from them, and let them deal with you with medicines or herbs or remedies or what have you not. My whole idea of being up here is to teach you sound information that will help you generate health in your body. We get taken away by the day and time of the thing that's going on in the world, but there's nothing new up under the sun. And we've heard that so many times before. Sicknesses come after sicknesses, and sicknesses come after sicknesses. And since the beginning of time, mankind has been trying to prevent sicknesses without stopping their bad habits. They don't look at bad. First of all, if you don't think that your habits and your environment have anything to do with your health, then hey, why should I even, why should I even do anything or seek out cause? All I am trying to do is just medicate myself some type of way. But I want to thank all the listeners who are tuning in today. We're going to enlighten you on how the body properly prevents itself from getting sick. I know we've heard that there's many prevention programs out there to help you keep yourself healthy, but we're going to tell you about the natural hygienic preventive system that is superior to all others because it doesn't use drugs in treating you. It doesn't use the remedies and the cures or anything like that. It doesn't use poisons, in other words. It's just modifying your lifestyle habits to allow your body to what's the best way to prevent a drunk man from getting drunk? There's nothing we can give him to prevent his slumbering, his throwing up, his sweating, his delirium, except for we remove the poison that is producing his symptoms. Well, the environment is not ideal, but the thing about it is knowing that we can't control certain stuff. I hear somebody saying that everything around us is toxic, even the air. But certain things that we're living in a toxic world somewhat, but it's still livable, provided that we can balance ourselves in what we can control. See, we can't control the quality of the air right now unless we wake up and stop these manufacturing plants and different things like that. But in the meantime, until mankind as a whole, collective whole, can see that he's destroying his own earth, there's habits that we can do individually in our own individual world that can maintain our health, at least in balance, that we don't suffer a lot of the illnesses that we're going through. See, the human body is capable of dealing with certain stresses, but too much stress on the human body is why we're suffering a lot of the sicknesses that mankind is dying from prematurely, and all the fatigue and stress and sicknesses that is going on in our world. But like I said, I want you to hit like and share and go to the ATR media platform and hit like and follow, where you can be alerted anytime that we're having a show, because our shows are relevant to what's going on in this day and time, and we try our best to bring it to you. It's not scripted really, and it's here just giving you the information from the facts of the books. We dig into the science books and we just relate science to you. Certain people tend to harbor words and phrases and stuff like that, but we don't speak Latin when we come to you. Use a bunch of Latin terminology and things of that nature. We talk about air, water, sun, the food you're eating, exercise. You know, something that people can't patent. Some people can't take credit for, and they can't control it. That's why they don't teach it. You know what I mean? If I can bottle air up to you, then here it is. I can sell it to you at a price, but I can't sell air to you. It takes for you to go out there and get fresh air. It takes for you to go and get sunlight. I can't bottle exercise in a bottle for you or anything like that. How can I prevent myself from getting fat? They got remedies out there for that. They got serum poisonings and stuff like that. So-called tell you that if you take these things, you can prevent yourself from getting fat. I remember a thing that Dr. Shelton was talking about on one of his lectures. And Dr. Shelton is one of the hygienic practitioners of all time, that formulated a lot of the knowledge that we know in holistic health in this day and time. And he was talking about how he wanted to come up with this preventive means of people getting blisters. He said he was tired of getting these blisters on his hand, so he wanted to prevent it some type of way. So he came up with he went ahead and burned himself on the stove. And when the blisters came about, he took some of the pus out of the blisters and shook it up in a test tube and mixed it with some other saline stuff and some other binders and different things. And he called the Blisterex. And he said, if you inject this in your body, you will not get blisters anymore. So after taking it, put his hand back on the stove to see if any blisters would show up. Now, yeah, I know you're saying, well, that's just idiotic. You know what I'm saying? That's retarded to sit there and think that you can prevent blisters from forming on your hand if you keep your hand in the fight. No matter how much Blisterex you take, or how much pus you extract from the blisters and inject back in yourself, can it stop you from having future blisters? So this is the whole concept on a lot of the preventive programs that's out there in society right now, that's forcing young people and older people to take these programs under governmental force and all type of other stuff. Like, we don't have a right to choose what we do with our body. Even if I'm making a bad mistake, hey, let me make my own bad mistake. It's my body. Only person I have to give have to give an account to is the maker. And the government didn't make my body. The church members didn't make my body. No leaders or anybody made this body. The only person made this body was God. So that's the person who I have to give an account for it. I get up there and he say, well, you should have did this. Well, I was wrong. I didn't know no better. I was trying to keep my temple holy. You know what I mean? I put my trust in you. So but I changed my habits and my lifestyle, and I've been in cleaner environments that I didn't get sick. So that's how you want to more or less look into it. But most of these preventive programs, they believe that they can prevent you from getting sick by giving you the disease. They give you the disease and say that by us giving you the disease, it'll ward you off from getting the disease. That's like, imagine if I go ahead and burn you on the stove and get your hand all blistered up, you'll never get blisters again because you've already went through the blistering process. If I go ahead and let you get drunk, I give you poison and let you get drunk, it'll stop you from getting drunk in future sessions of you drinking. You can drink indiscriminately, but you won't get drunk anymore because you took a low dose of alcohol. So this is the concept. If you actually listen, and they put a lot of hype about it. These people are big government, own big buildings. Uh, they rulers of the world right now, and they're telling you this information, and man, I know it's scary for us to sit there and listen and all this different stuff, but you know we're listening to them. We don't hear nothing. We're not aware of other stuff. But once you become aware, you see that a lot of this stuff is folly. Even when it's not working, it still is being given to us by force. We even have the herbalists out here. They also got a big hand in trying to exploit us, exploit our health, and exploit our wealth, and trying to sell us cures and remedies in their preventive program. But all this serum poisoning, I wanted to share something with you from Dr. J.H. Tilden. He wrote something very informative in one of these, in this book called Toxemia Explained. I love this book, Toxemia Explained by J.H. Tilden. He's an MD. But he gave up his drug therapy to teach people healthy lifestyle habits. He said he helped more people cure themselves of sicknesses without giving them anything than he ever did by toting around his little black bag of poison. But let me make sure I got the right part here. All right, so it said serum poisons and preventive programs must be used to immunize from disease that results from the innovation brought on from all preceding causes. This is another sentence fad. So listen what he said. A lot of our preventive programs are designed to immunize us or protect us from the innovation brought on from all preceding causes. All the bad habits that I have in my life that's draining me of my energy, that's abusing my organs and tissue. The way I'm eating is abusing my organs and my tissues. The way I'm drinking is abusing and overusing my cells and tissues. My thoughts are overusing my cells and tissues. I'm allowing my feeling to, create huge amounts of stress that's overworking my adrenal glands and all type of other tissues and cells in my body that's producing toxins throughout my body. And I'm thinking that I can use a program or some type of serum, inject something into my body that will protect me from my bad habits. But see, that's the thing. If I can take you from thinking that your bad habits is the cause of your stomach aches, of your lung issues, of your vaginal problems, or your erectile problems, or whatever the issue that is going on in your body, if I can get you from thinking, or if my education knows nothing about the toxemia theory instead of the germ theory, instead of believing that little parasites have find a way to get up under my pinky toe or my nail bed and done tripled and quadrupled and multiplied by the billions and caused me to get sick. That's the theory of the medical mindset. It's kind of hard to really help explain the, what true health is without talking about the lies that's being told. So Dr. Schultz says sometimes you have to expose the lie where the truth can be left standing. But when you're being muffled and muted to be able to, talk about this thing, when only one narrative is being broadcasted across the stream, if only one man in the courthouse is able to talk, how can that be a fair trial? Everybody else got to be quiet and let only the accuser talk. The man can never defend himself. No witnesses can come and talk in the courtroom. What kind of courthouse that is? When you're in a world that's supposed to be free, in this so-called freedom of speech world, you got so-called muting going on. You can't have the true access to teach people. And if you look at a lot of the things that we read in the Bible, and I know some people might not be a religious people. Some people might not even be a spiritual people. Some people who don't care about what they believe in. But the Bible is pretty much a book that is widespread, and people do have knowledge of it. So it is a power here in the universe. It's a power here in the world right now. And in there, we see that it says it's going to come a time, just like how we seen in the day of the Library of Alexandria, where they burned that down because they didn't want people to educate themselves. So they thought they can get rid of all the information to help raise people's awareness. If people don't know what the truth is, then we can tell them lies and they'll believe it. So if we can only expose what we're exposing, then the people won't never hear the truth, and a lie and challenge becomes the truth. And it's hard to challenge these people, you know what I'm saying? Because first of all, they're not going to come up and talk to none of us. You never see any holistic doctors on a panel with these medical doctors. They believe that they are too above to have a holistic doctor. And the thing about it is, if we have clients that come to us suffering with health issues, and all our clients, they recover from the health issues. I mean, it doesn't matter what they come to us for. The so-called high blood sugar, the high blood pressure, the high cholesterol, and the asthma, and all type of issues, inflammation, arthritis in the joints, all these different diseases that mankind is suffering from, and sicknesses that they're suffering from. They come to us and they get healed. None of them leave here without getting healed if they follow what we tell them to do. All of them recover. Our success rate is like at 100. But if we, they go back to their doctor, the doctor say, the medical doctor re-examine them and say, "Hey, man, you're doing amazing. What happened?" Well, I ran into this guy who told me I need to start eating more fruits. I need to fast. I need to go get some sunlight. I need to rest more. I need to exercise. I need to drink clean, pure, distilled water. I need to stay away from toxic people and things in my life. I need to keep nurturing relationships. I need to keep emotional balance. Don't be overdoing it and wasting away my vital energy. And he told me to keep cleanliness around me and my air and go out and get adequate amounts of sunlight. And he told me to maintain normal temperature. And man, when I started doing that, man, within the record time, a week or so, the issues that have been plaguing me for years are disappearing. I don't have them no more. The doc, "Hey, I understand that, but have you been taking your medication?" No, I stopped taking the medication because, it don't make no sense for me to take medication, for high blood pressure if my blood pressure is normal. I take high blood pressure medicine with my pressure being normal, then I'm going to have the lows. It's going to bottom out. I'm going to have low blood pressure. Well, I think you need to keep taking your pressure pills or your pills because you might get it back. But I just told you I got it corrected. And then another one come to him and tell him the benefits of meeting a guy who told him the same stuff. Get fresh air, eat fresh fruits and vegetables, get sleep, stay away from toxic people. 5 people come to him and tell him, hey, man, I got healed when I changed my lifestyle habits. I got healed when I changed my environmental condition. Oh, that's nice. How are you taking your medicine? And, if said I was selling pills or cures or remedies and so-called somebody got healed with one of them, it'd be spread all over the internet. This wonder drug, this wonder pill or whatever. Every doctor in Savannah, every doctor in Chatham County, every doctor in Georgia, every doctor in the United States will be trying to get their hands on this pill to offer it to their clients. Let me give them something. That's all they want to do because they got to sell something. But I come to them and tell them, hey, this person, all these people who came to me from you that was suffering from high blood pressure, I modified their lifestyle habits. And I align it with natural hygienic concepts. Get fresh air, sunlight. These are some common concepts. They're not no hard principles to live by. They're not hard principles to understand. You need to breathe fresh air, one principle. You need to go out into the sun and get the rays of the sun on your bare skin, 2 principles. Drink clean distilled water. Stop poisoning yourself with all these concoctions, 3 principles. Eat abundance of fresh fruits and vegetables, nuts and seeds, 4 principles. I ain't said nothing hard yet, and I'm always almost halfway through with the principles. If you follow those 10 ways of health that we've been talking about since we started this platform, you'll see health generate back in your body like that. But it's about you reimagining all you've been taught. Get out of that matrix of woven lies that's being pushed on the human people. If these people were so intelligent and so smart and have all the answers, why are we suffering and dying at an alarming rate right now? You tell me that. Folks can't save nobody. We have these. I ain't talking about to the good doctors who out there saving a person who is in an emergency crisis. But if they teach the people the right way, we won't even need emergency doctors because it won't never come to emergency unless it's just from a wreck of a car or something like that. But then people might even drive better if they eating better and got better mindsets and more vitality and more life. They wouldn't be falling asleep behind the wheel or doing things that are unhealthy because they are in their right mind. So here we see that, it's all about reimagining what we consider health to be. And it's going to take for us to, get more people with the momentum of wanting to be healthy. See, the collective mindset right now is so fearful and scared of sickness that has been perpetuated on mankind, that we willing to listen to everything. Whatever they say, whatever you say, Master, we follow you. I don't care if you lead us in the ditch. I follow you. Just to keep you, Master, quiet, Master yell. He threatened and all type of stuff. Well, we gotta please Master. You got a couple of other people saying, hey man, let's do what we gotta do, let's stick to the gun. Hey, but Master Catchers, boy, it's on and popping. So we have to get to a point where we're all on one accord, where we're going to be healthy, first of all, in our own self. As we be healthy in our own self, and then we start teaching other people to be healthy as well, a momentum starts. And once the momentum starts, we'll start seeing a change, because those people who are healthier start getting in the right places. Just like even in our judicial system, a lot of corruption is going on in there because the right people ain't in there who know divine justice, who have a heart and a mind to do right. If it's not in their conscious state to do it, if it's not in their heart to do it, how you expect them to get in there and do anything? You got to be in their heart. I don't care if it's written on the paper, "Thou shalt not kill." Oh, okay, I read that. What? I can in my mind interpret that any type of way. Don't kill bats. Don't kill roaches. That's my interpretation. You can't tell me what I believe from that. But if it's in my heart not to kill, then I'm not even thinking about killing. It's a difference in heart and being written down. And most of these people are living by books, living by words and papers and stuff like that. Everything legal and all type of stuff. But they're not operating from the heart no more. That's why we're suffering so much, because no one is going to the heart. And that's where we find all truth. That's where we find the thing that's going to change our world back into where it need to be at, where we're going to be excelling. You're not suffering. Now, Tilton goes on to say, people are sick from wrong living. Operations remove effects. Somebody get a swollen tonsil. The idea for them is to say, hey, let's take the tonsils out. Somebody have gallstones. Let's take the gallbladder out. Somebody have a heart attack. Let's take the heart out. Somebody having meningitis, and let's take out the meninges in the brain. That don't sound right, ain't it? You didn't need your tonsil. You didn't need your adenoid. You didn't need a gallbladder. You don't need that stuff. Sound like shade tree mechanics, if you think about it. The shade tree mechanic, you come to him, he got this muffler on and he got this Cadillac converter and it stopped up. Instead of him wanting to put a whole nother one up there, he said, hey man, let's just beat this out. You didn't really need it in the first beginning. You don't need this thermostat in your car. That's just to warn you and let you know if the engine run hot. But you don't need to know all that. Just throw you some water in there and run that boy straight. Bypass the hot water heat. All these different shade tree mechanic stuff. But not teaching you how to properly live, knowing that your body can heal itself. Now, all these doctors, if they go to school, and most of them have gone to school, and in biology, it talks about the cell and how the cell has the ability to self-preserve itself, and the differentiation of the cell and the dividing of the cell, and how it create different cells of its kind. It go on dividing itself, and that's how new cells come about. That's how new growth come about. That's how development. That's how repairing goes on. Old cells die and new cells come about. So an organ or a tissue that is diseased or messed up, if you change your lifestyle habit within a couple of times, a couple of months or so, it has the ability to regenerate itself back new, provided that you ain't abusing it anymore. It's just like a smoker. Everybody know a smoker is tearing up their lungs every time they sitting there smoking. But we even know, and the doctor even tell you, once you stop smoking, your lungs go into cleansing and repairing itself. A year or two from the time you stop smoking, you can see your lungs is almost back to working at 80% or 90% of its original ability. Anytime you stop the abuse, you can have a man who work on cars and he can be out there turning wrenches until he got calluses all over his hand. He put the wrenches down and go and do something else, something that doesn't require him to use his hand. His hand would then turn back into soft and like baby bottoms, not that rough, tough stuff that scrape you when you touch them. Ooh, it'd be to scratch your skin off. But this is something we have to think about. Nature cures when allowed to do so by removing the cause of innervation. The only way that nature can heal us is when we remove the cause that nature required us to have in the first beginning. Because see, if you got the conditions of a rose tree there, you planting a rose tree and you say you're I'm gonna say something that a lot of people know of, and some people may think that this is not a good example to use. Well, this is what's going on in the day and time. Hydro growing. Let's say you want to grow the best cannabis plant, and let's say a bell pepper. But anyhow, most people will relate to a cannabis plant. They know that the best plants or the people who smoke the best weed is from a grown indoors. It's grown indoors. It's a difference being grown indoors and grown outside. Outside, you're not going to be able to control the environment that the tree is in. So the plant is only going to be as good as its environment. So here, inside, indoors, you can control that environment. You can control the air that's flowing through there. You can control the temperature. You can control how much water it's getting. You can control so much that you can cut the light off when you want or put the light on it. You can give it more day than night. So it depends on you. And when you learn how to make that, grow in a way to make that plant grow its best, and you know that every time, and you do that every time, you're never going to have a harvest that is bad. Your harvest is going to excel every growing season. You see what I'm coming from? What I'm telling you is the human body is just like the plant. It's no difference. When you put it in a good environment and the habits, the conditions around these bodies are indoors and not outdoors bodies. When you knowing now what it takes, I'm telling you, hygiene has for a long time set and watch what it takes for a human body to be at its optimum. And that's what we get. We get the 10 principles of hygiene. Those 10 energy enhancers. The 10 commandments of hygiene. We get that. And when we apply that, you can be a good grower of your own body if you just follow natural hygiene in those 10 ways of health. Because if you go down the line and making sure that you're giving it this pure, clean, distilled water, that's a good thing. You're going to come out with some good endo. If you're giving it Arnold Palmer, you're going to end up with some outdoor. If you're eating fresh fruits and vegetables, you're going to end up with some endo. High potent, optimum health. But if you're eating the stuff from Nabisco and General Mills and Little Debbie and her friends, then you're going to end up with some outdoor. It depends on what you want for your body. In one of our books, The 10 Ways of Health, no, it's not The 10 Ways of Health. It's the hygienic writings and essays of natural hygiene. And it talks in there, it's a chapter in there that talks about building a shack or a mansion. Our bodies are said to be a temple. And that's what I was going to talk about too. But it said, let me finish this thought and I'll come back there if I don't forget. But it said our body is a temple. And by it being a temple, we have a choice to build it. Now, we got materials that's all around us. This body is made up of the air we breathe. You could tell by looking at somebody what type of air they breathe. You can tell what type of food they're eating. You can tell what type of water they're drinking. It can't be clean. It can't be healthy if they're broken down, if they're sick and diseased. You can tell how much exercise they get. Then you can look at the people who are exercising, they're eating right and breathing fresh air, staying away from toxic people, keeping the will to live, keeping their stress levels down, keeping cheerfulness in their life. These people they're doing great. Not suffering from anything. Life is well for them. And they're not taking no preventive medication. They're not taking medication. That's a whole fallacy in itself. The cure mongers, curing is a false mindset, is a false idea, because there are no cures. The body cures itself. Even Tilden say that in the Toxemia Explained. You cannot heal the body while the cause of the suffering is still present. I don't care how much drugs you take, how much medicine you take. I don't care if you come up with all type of medical science. It doesn't matter. You can build the most gigantic machine that's supposed to zap your body into health. Not while the cause is there. I bet you won't sober up a drunk man while he continuously drink. I don't care what remedy you give him, what therapy you give him. If he constantly got that bottle up to his throat like that, if the child got his hand still in the fire, you can't stop his hand from burning. You can't get them to stop them blisters from showing up. I don't care how much Blisterex you use. So it's going to take for you to change your habits. Address the root cause of all disease. And that's toxemia. It may sound like, man, that's too good to be true. You mean to tell me everybody suffering from one disease? It's true. It's only one disease that affects mankind. Now, how it's being eliminated out of the body, which route is taken to free itself, and what damage it's doing in the body is unique to everybody. Like, it's just one disease, which is poison. Poison is the only thing that can kill us, or damage, or starvation. All right. But when we're suffering, it's most likely due to poisoning, because ain't none of us starving around here, because we eating ourselves pretty much to death, which is the poison. Unless we abuse ourselves, like getting hitting ourselves in the head, slamming our hand in doors constantly, or the work that we do, constantly abuse us. We work in a truck that bouncing us all day long and putting pressure on our spinal cord. Those things can wear out, provided that we not eating healthy and stuff like that. So you can wear your body down out and hurt your body in some of your living habits. But see, here again, that's living habits. You have to change some of those habits, and you don't suffer that sickness. But the poisoning, this poisoning, when it gets in our body, all of us got a safety valve or a storage bin to store these toxins, because the poisons can't stay in the blood for a long time or allow the blood to become too acidic, or we'll die. So what the body does is put the poisons in the out of the way area. This Toxemia Explained. Toxemia Explained said that there's only one cause but there's only one disease. The cause to that one disease is innervation. When the body becomes tired, fatigued from constant abuse, it no longer can do no house cleaning. And so the toxins build up in the body, especially if you're constantly putting toxins in your body. So these toxins can get freed up because there's no energy to free it. There's no energy being supplied to the kidneys to get rid of this waste material. Your colon has no energy to do no bowel action or any constructive bowel action. The lungs can't breathe out constructively to get rid of poisonous gases. Now you still breathing, but it's not effective to get rid of the accumulated waste on the inside. The liver is not breaking down toxins because there's no energy to send to the liver to do such a thing. So these toxins are staying inside of our body and they're irritating. They're acidic, like free radicals running around, tearing up and damaging stuff. So the body have to put it in out of the way areas or find a way to just throw it out the body. People seen where big boils will come straight out of their skin. A big abscess come out of their gums, and this poison is just being thrown out of the body in different places. Women experience that through their monthly, having big globs of poisons or little cysts and stuff that fall out. So the body is at all times trying to free itself from waste. You see that with sneezing and coughing. You're hitting these loogies and stuff. You're spitting it out. You're having the drainage coming from your eyes, especially in the morning time when you wake up and have to clean all that gunk, all that stuff that's between your toes and all type of stuff. That's detoxing going on. Your body is throwing off poison. It's throwing off waste. So it's at all times trying to free itself of poison. But when it's unable to do so because it don't have the energy to do it, then these poisons accumulate in our body. Now, as it accumulates in the body, some people, like I said, the body try to find a route. Now, whichever route it used, that's where you're going to go to the doctor complaining. If it used your eyes, you're going to go talking about you got eye trouble. If it's coming out of your ears and throat, or it's around your ears and throat, you might suffer some catarrh, some cold or something like that. If it sits in your lungs and putrefy, you might end up with some pneumonia or something like that. It depends on how toxic the toxins are and how much is it. That depends on how long you're going to be sick. And if you keep up the cause of your poisoning, then hey, your sick become chronic. It's no longer acute. It become a chronic condition. If, a lot of times when we eat a lot of protein foods, the body, when it breaks down these protein foods, it leaves behind this ash product. This acid product, this acid ash product. It's like a residue, an acid residue that's left behind, like uric crystals and stuff like that. Those uric crystals, they're really irritating because it's like acid just being poured on your body. Like imagine pouring acid on your skin. That would be really irritating to you. So imagine these uric crystals or this acid just sitting them in your joint area, because that's where they're stored at. Anytime these uric crystals are building up in your blood and they can't get out through your kidneys or anything like that because your kidneys tired from getting rid of this excess protein and these nitrogen out of your body and stuff like that, it goes in and be stored in your joint areas. All right. And so that's why you start having that irritation in your joints. start becoming inflamed after so long a time. You got acid just sitting there eating away at your joints. They become swollen and all type of stuff. You get the gout in the feet from the excess of eating the beef and well, it really doesn't matter what the protein is. I know some people who eat a lot of seafood and they feet will swell up. So when your body no longer can tolerate the irritation, that's when you start having this reactions. You start having more reactions, more flare-ups. So you start having all this induration going on and all this ulceration going on. Those are not favorable. Those are not favorable conditions to be in. But this is why it's important for you to look at disease in a whole different way. If you keep thinking that your arthritis is due to some germ and you need to find some way to kill the germ inside of you, you're going to constantly be suffering until you end up losing your knee and have to have a knee replacement. And man, it's a commercial been on today where they're recalling knee replacements. If you had a knee replacement, they're recalling it. You mean you recalling something that's you put in my leg? It's being recalled? Like you got to get it and take it back out and place it with something new? Oh man, that's not a favorable thing. They think it's like a car part. They calling back the brakes. They calling back the alternators. The alternators were catching the fire. So they recalling. Mazda recalling all their alternators. Well, this company is recalling all their knee replacements. They say they've done thousands and thousands, hundreds of thousands of knee replacements, and they're recalling all of them. Can you imagine how many people are? You're saying that the knee replacement has been breaking down because of some rubber or plastic that's in there, and it's been breaking down real rapidly, and so the knee replacement is really no good itself. It's causing the same hurt and pain that their regular knee was causing them. Which all that could have healed, provided that we knew the way to health and was willing to try it. But we're so addicted to our lifestyle, and our lifestyle is so alluring to us. Most of us don't want to give up McDonald's and Burger King. Most of us don't want to give up that pizza or that steak and potato or that fried chicken or that fried fish and shrimp or that low country ball or those snow crab legs, the macaroni and cheese and turkey wings, that oxtails and rice and gravy. I know what you're talking about. I used to eat that stuff decades ago. So, but I still know what I went through this stuff. It's not like I went through the eating. I was 353 pounds. I had the diabetes. I had the high blood pressure. I had the diabetic neuropathy in my, legs, both legs, going all the way down my legs and into my hand. You got that bad. Only until I changed my lifestyle habits did those symptoms of sicknesses disappear. There was no prevention, no program of prevention I could do. The only prevention is healthy lifestyle habits. The only way you can prevent sickness is obedience. Only obedience can stop you from getting a whipping. So that's the only thing that you have to get into your mindset. Get away from the preventive program and look into taking care of yourself. And even if you did get into these preventive programs or been taking different drugs and different things of that nature, help do your body some justice by aligning yourself up with natural hygiene, eating fresh fruits and vegetables, getting rest, drinking water. Because if you poison yourself, don't just say, oh, well, I poisoned myself. I can go ahead and keep on eating my pizza. I can keep on eating my chicken. I can keep up with my ribs and all type of stuff like that. I can stay toxic. You know, I can drink whatever I want to drink. It's not going to help. But you can help aid your body by changing those bad habits still. And perchance, you may be able to protect yourself from the poisoning of those programs. I was just looking at it, and I'm about to wrap this show up here because we're running out of time. But I was looking at a show last night where it was about a museum, artifacts in the museum. And it could have been strange things. But this doctor, I think he was in Kansas somewhere or somewhere. It may not have been Kansas, but he was somewhere. I can't remember where he was actually located. But he was a doctor. And a guy came into his office and said, hey, doc, I've been having high blood pressure issue and impotence. So I didn't hear him talk about how to correct the high blood pressure, but he remembered something that from being on a farm that his goats used to have this insatiable sex drive. And I wonder if that's where they got the horny goat. But nevertheless, the doctor told the man, he said, well, I can do a transplant where he took out the gonads of the goat and put it into the man, switched them out. Testicle. Changed them out. And so, according to this recording and this thing, it worked. The man was able to get back up and actually got his wife pregnant. I don't know what could have come out of some goat testicles except probably another goat. Half goat, half human. I don't know. But nevertheless, he was implementing goat testicles into people to help with all kind of sicknesses. I don't care what you came to him for. He was throwing goat testicles. He had to kill up a bunch of goats. I bet you a bunch of goats in his area was really hard with him. I don't know where he get all them goat testicles from. But nevertheless, over time, they realized that all these people eventually were suffering. It appeared to work for a day or two, or even a week, or even a month. But when you went back and look at all those people end up dying and suffering from bleeding and internal bleeding and all type of stuff. All from this research. Yeah, it may look like it's working today. It may even look like it's working this week. It may even look like it's working for a year or two. But when how they say the boo-boo hits the fan, I wonder if we even know. Something else would be already up that we won't even be able to correlate all this preventive work that we've done, all this poison we done dumped in our body. Who to say which poison was killing us or causing our suffering now? We've been injected with so much poison since we were born that it's a shame. And we've been taking over-the-counter poison. We just been poisoning ourselves. So when our sickness comes, who to say which poison was the case? Or is it an accumulation of the poison that wear our body down till our body no longer can tolerate, and then we have these issues that brings on death. All right. So I want to thank everyone who's tuned into our show. I do want to suggest that you ask more questions. Let's be a little more interactive in this show. I know I talk a lot, and a lot of people might, I heard a lot of people say that they just like for me to talk and educate and teach. But it would be ideal for, us to be a little more interactive. I do encourage that way. You can talk, ask questions. Somebody's suffering with something. Let's talk about it. I'm here to teach. I'm here to help. Best of Health and Happiness from Dr. Ferrante Frazier, Holistic Health and Healing, the Health Coach. See you next week. I love you.
Like this.